you think the Quran is so wrong, then read it and find an error. And there you go. If you can find one, you'll be the person who defeated Islam.
Read it, find an error. If you do, you'll be the person who defeated Islam.
People have been trying for 1,400 years. Everyone's failed.
Everyone has failed.
If you think you're the guy who could do that, you're the woman who could do that, then try it.
People for 14 centuries haven't been able to find one single error in the Quran. Not one.
Well, David. In Surah 9, verse 30, it says, the Jews say Ezra is the son of Allah, and the Christians say the Messiah is the son of Allah. That is their saying with their mouths. They imitate the saying of those who disbelieved of old. Allah himself fighteth against them. How perverse are they? What in the world is this? Which Jew believes that Ezra is the son of God? Which Jew has ever believed that Ezra is the son of God? There is no record of a single Jew ever holding such a belief.
Have we been able to find one Jew in history who calls Ezra the son of God?
No. The Quran here presents this as a general Jewish belief and therefore condemns the Jews. And this is also confirmed when we go to the Hadiths and see that Muhammad says that on the day of judgment, the Jews will be asked, what did you used to believe? And they will say, we used to believe in Ezra, the son of Allah.
If a Muslim were to want to say, well, maybe it was just like one person or something like that, maybe that's why he says it. But it's parallel with Christians saying the Messiah is the son of Allah. So you pointed out, the Quran is presenting this as a standard Jewish belief, right? Because it doesn't say what, some weird offshoot heretical sect of Christianity says. It says that Christians say that Christ is the Son of God. That's exactly what that is. That is basic, fundamental Christian teaching. So obviously, this is talking about Christians in general, Jews in general. It says that Ezra is the son of Allah. What we're saying is, even if a Muslim wanted us to give the benefit of the doubt, you pointed out the problem is in the Hadith, Muhammad himself said that at the judgment, the Jews in general, as one giant group, are going to be asked, what did you worship? And they say Ezra.
Why would Allah be talking about some Jews that nobody has ever heard of and that will never, ever be relevant to the world?
That's a parallel problem with the passage in Surah 5 where Allah finally tries to describe the Trinity, the doctrine of the Trinity that people are supposed to reject. And he defines the Trinity as Allah, Jesus, and Mary, who all work together, but they're separate beings, right? Now, when we bring that up, we say, wait, Allah's telling people to reject the Trinity. And then when he describes the Trinity, he doesn't even know what it is. And then the response is, but maybe there was some group that taught this as the Trinity. We say, we have no record of any Christian group ever teaching that as a Trinity. Well, maybe it was some local kind of group that we have no record of, and that's what they taught. And then the problem with that is what AP was just talking about. This is Allah's eternal speech. Allah has from all eternity figured out exactly how he wants to respond to Jews and Christians. And when he does, he responds to a Trinity made up of Allah, Jesus, and Mary, and he responds to a group of Jews that we have no record of who say that Ezra is the son of Allah. Why did he pick these two groups that no one's ever heard of and base his responses to them? So anyway, the point is, on this one verse, Jews call Ezra the son of Allah. Since it's right beside this passage about Christians saying the Messiah is the son of Allah, it's presenting this as a problem for Jews in general. And notice it doesn't say, hey, there's one Jewish guy. It says the Jews.
We are the two men who have defeated Islam here.
We have done it. Goal is to make things common knowledge. For things to become common knowledge, lots of people have to be sharing these things. You want that to pop up every time. As soon as a bunch of hands go up and go, what about the Quran saying that Jews call Ezra the son of Allah? What's going on there? And then watch them start squirming. Let's go with a little scientific problem, shall we? Here's one. Talking about Dhul-Qarnayn. It's Alexander the Great. You still have Muslims who don't, who say that this is talking about someone else now, even though it's obvious who this is talking about. You can read the Alexander legends, the Alexander romances, which are like fan fiction. They're made up stories, but Muhammad didn't know. But this entire passage of the Quran fits the Alexander romances perfectly. It's a description of exactly what he does in those stories, which again are not true. They're fake. They're made up stories. Muhammad couldn't tell the difference. But you get down to Surah 18, verse 86, verse 85. So he followed away, this is Dhul-Qarnayn, until when he reached something. What did he reach? The setting place of the sun. So there is a setting place of the sun. There's a place where the sun actually sets. And you can reach it. And Dhul-Qarnayn actually did. He reached the setting place of the sun. He found it setting in a spring of black, muddy, or hot water. And he found near it a people. So there's a place where the sun sets. It sets in a spring of black, muddy, or hot water. And there are people who live there. He found near it a people. We, Allah, said by inspiration, O Dhul-Qarnayn, either you punish them or treat them with kindness.
One of those issues is the whole historical aspects of this taking a fantasy narrative about Alexander the Great. That is one aspect of it. The other issue is, of course, Dhul-Qarnayn, or Alexander the Great. He walked to the place where he reached the setting place of the sun. Where's that, David?
I don't know.
I want to go there.
I've never been able to find it. Can we get tickets? Can we drive there, or do we need to sail there, or do we need to get plane tickets to go there? Because I definitely want to go there too. One, not only is there not a setting place of the sun, two, since there is no setting place of the sun, Alexander the Great most certainly did not reach it because there isn't one. So 2 problems already. And then he finds it setting in a spring of black, muddy water. So it's actually telling us where the sun sets, in a pool of muddy or hot water. Guess what? No, it doesn't. So that's false. He found near to people. Well, no, there are no people there because there is no such place. Hey, Pete, that's 4 errors.
Wow.
And that's leaving out the problem of the whole passage, that the whole passage presents Dhul-Qarnayn, Alexander the Great, as a devout Muslim. And that dude was the paganist of all pagans. You cannot be more pagan than Alexander the Great. The Quran presents him as a devout follower of Allah. And they'll claim that this is just saying that Alexander the Great reached a big pool of water and there was an optical illusion. He saw the sun setting and it looked like it was going down in the water, but it really wasn't. So they'll say that when the Quran talks about the setting place of the sun, it's not really talking about a setting place, it's just talking about a place where it kind of looks like it sets. Very strange that Allah in his eternal, perfectly clear speech would make it sound like there's a place where the sun sets and that you could go find it and so on. But let's just read one quick hadith from Muhammad. Muhammad said all sorts of things about the sun. So if you can make sense of it, everyone, maybe you try. He has all sorts of stuff about the sun going around and going under Allah's throne and stuff like that. But right here, Muhammad in Sunan Abu Dawud 4002, it was narrated that Abu Dar said, I was riding behind the Messenger of Allah while he was on a donkey and the sun was setting. Ooh, cool. Sunset with the Prophet. He said, so Muhammad said, do you know where this sun sets? I said, Allah and his messenger know best. He said, it sets in a spring of warm water. It sets what? What sets? It, the sun. The sun sets in a spring of warm water. Keep in mind, this little hadith has nothing to do with Dhul-Qarnayn. This story has nothing to do with what you might see if you went near a pool of water. This is Muhammad saying, do you know where the sun sets? Where does it go? Where does it go when it disappears from view? And one of his followers say, you're the prophet, you know. Allah and his messenger know best. And Muhammad, the prophet, who's called the walking Quran because he is the grade A, greatest interpreter of the Quran anywhere ever. And he clearly interprets 1886 as affirming that the sun sets in a pool of water because he says it sets in a spring of warm water. Not if you go there, you'll see a pool of water and it kind of looks like it. He's not describing what Alexander the Great saw. He's not saying what you could see in an optical illusion. He's asking specifically what happens to the sun, and he says it sets in a spring of warm water. Point is, Muhammad here is blocking some of the main reinterpretations you'll get from Dawa clowns.